Hi everybody, Dr. Bill Crawford here, psychologist, speaker, author of 7 books, host of 2 PBS specials. Here again to bring you another tip on how to help you create the life you want. How to bring more clarity, confidence, creativity into everything you do. Today I want to look at a quote that I'm sending out to those 6,000 folks on my quote list, and I found it on Pinterest. It's kind of cool. You may have heard it before. I'm going to put a new twist to it, however. It says, the 2 problems in life, the 2 main problems in life come from either acting without thinking or just thinking and thinking and thinking without acting. Now, on some level, the quote stands by itself. I mean, we've all seen other people, maybe we've done it ourselves, kind of act without thinking. We say something, we do something, and later on we're going, oh man, what was I thinking? We weren't, we were just reacting. Now, for those of you who follow my Life from the Top of the Mind philosophy, you know that's because there is a certain part of the brain that is supposed to act without thinking. If we have something coming at our head and we catch it in our peripheral vision, if we have to think, you know, something is coming at my we'll get hit with it. So there's a part of the brain, the limbic system, that kind of scans the environment for any kind of threat or danger, and if it catches something in our peripheral vision, we duck, we act without thinking. Anytime we're in a fight or flight situation, anytime we have to act without thinking, this is the part of the brain that does it really, really well. The problem is, it is kind of scanning the environment for threats and negative information all the time, and sometimes reading into situations that aren't particularly negative, that don't require a fight or flight response, but it reacts that way anyway. So that's where we find ourselves saying things or doing things, and later on we go, oh man, I got to go clean that up because what was I thinking? We've seen it ourselves, we've seen it at others. Now, the whole idea of thinking without acting. Now, when I say thinking without acting, I almost think what we're really saying is we're worrying without kind of taking any kind of action. We're ruminating on some particular situation. Because if we're really thinking about it, then what we're also doing is making a plan of action. But when we're just sitting there going, gosh, I don't know, this might happen, what if this happens? Or what if we had this great idea? And you know, we don't do anything about it, and then somebody else does, and we kind of go, oh man, I kind of wish I'd have acted on that. It's not a big deal. But if we have a great idea and we're afraid of acting on it because we're afraid of rejection, or we're afraid of it not working, or something fear-based in there, then when we don't do it, we feel extra bad because we've been giving in to fear. We've been trusting fear. There was a quote that basically says, what would you do if you knew you could not fail? I love that, because it really it shows us how fear gets in the way sometimes of our action. So again, it's this middle part of the brain. It's this part of the brain perceiving a situation as dangerous. And if we see rejection as dangerous, or failure as dangerous, maybe it means something about us that we are afraid to look at or don't want to admit. Now we find ourselves just ruminating and ruminating. Thinking without acting can be a problem. So, what's the solution? Well, in my philosophy, we train this middle part of the brain, this scanner, processor, router part of the brain called the limbic system, to actually evaluate actions in a way that have the highest potential for success. I call it the 4 criteria. We basically ask ourselves the question, is how I'm thinking and feeling right now, have I chosen that? Am I doing that on purpose? Most people say they don't get stressed and worried and frustrated on purpose, so that would be a no. Second one, is it effective? Is it working for me? Is it helping me create the life I want? Third, is it defining who I am? Do I want to be defined as someone who just kind of thinks without acting, or acts without thinking? Probably not. And the fourth one, which I love, would I teach and or recommend this to someone I love or someone that I care for? So when we can ask ourselves these questions, we know we're coming from the upper 80% of the brain, the neocortex, what I call the top of the mind. These are all top of the mind questions, and they make sure that when we are thinking, whatever action comes from that is very purposeful, it's effective, it defines who we are, and we would teach and or recommend it to someone we love. Now, is it always exactly the best thing? Sometimes not. Sometimes we actually have to risk taking an action and to find out whether it's truly the best thing. But if we'll do this very purposefully, then we'll learn something from even that mistake and go, okay, good information. Knowing what I know now, here's how I would do that differently in the future. We can even begin to celebrate the fact that we would do that again in the future. So if you find yourself kind of stymied by acting without thinking, having to go back and clean up things that you wish you'd been more thoughtful on, or thinking, worrying, ruminating without acting, I'm encouraging you to recognize that what's going on in the brain and that you can do something about it. If you want me to come, by the way, and kind of talk to your organization about how to bring more thought and purposefulness into your actions, how to take action on ideas that you really believe in, that's what I love to do. Go to my website, billcrawfordphd.com. Let me know what you're interested in. Love to talk with you about that. In fact, if you want to work with me as a psychologist, life coach, whatever you want to call me, feel free to go to the website and do the same thing. Each week I bring you one of these videos. I hope you're enjoying them. If you do, please hit the like button. You know how everybody loves it when you like it. Share it with your friends if you feel it's valuable, because the more we spread the word about how to actually use the brain in this very purposeful way, the more we can begin to create a more purposeful life. So, here is to you, bringing more clarity, confidence, creativity to everything you do, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.